You gotta crawl before you walk.
Exactly.
Talk about your first Conan appearance. How does it compare?
Oh, that was great. Like when I first got Conan, I was living in Boston, and they saw me in Chicago. The night before, I happened to be in Chicago doing a set.
Zanies?
Yeah, actually, Zanies. It was they were doing a festival, and I did Zanies. I did really well. But if you go back further, that same night, I had like 2 or 3 sets in one night at this festival. So right before that, I got like booed off stage.
Oh my God!
In another part of Chicago, right? I just was off, and I don't know if I got booed, maybe, but I definitely cursed the audience out. I know that.
Well,
right. And so then
the details are a little fuzzy.
I don't know if we curse on this podcast.
Go ahead.
Yeah, like I literally ended with "fuck y'all," right? And then I dropped the mic and I left. And so, and it's the best thing as a comic. The best thing when you bomb, especially once you really get it gets in your bones. You want to get on stage again as quick as possible, right?
Right.
If you don't want to get on stage ever again, then you probably have your answer, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've been doing it for a few years at that point. So luckily, that same night, had another set, redeemed myself, and the greatest thing is a comic came up to me at that set, and he's like, "Man, I saw that other set," and he's like, "Man, you were great. Those people suck. Now I see what you really do." Blah blah blah. Okay, whatever. Slight redemption. The next day, I fly back the next day. That night, I'm in Boston doing another set. Bit of a workaholic. Like I didn't like.
It's a good ethic.
I didn't land in Boston and chill. I have a set that night. But then the Conan guy comes up to me. He said, "We saw you last night in Chicago." And I was like, "Oh, cool!" And it was a Conan showcase actually. And I was,
were you like, which show?
right.
I'm so sorry.
Right? No, he was like, "We saw you at Zanies. It was great." And I was, "Oh, whew." And I was like, "Yeah. All my shows went well last night. I wish you were at the other one." So, and I felt bad because my friends we were all showcasing to be on Conan, and like everyone was like really in their heads because someone told us like, don't say hi to the crowd because you don't say hi during a TV set. People were telling them all this, not bad advice, but advice that's not needed. Just do what you do, right?
Right.
And so everyone's sort of stressing, and for him to come up to me before my set and be like, "Oh, you were great," just all the pressure, just
nice.
Because he kind of already likes me,
Yeah.
Just do that again.
Yeah, just do that again, exactly.
Yeah.
So then I did well, and I guess it was that week I'm at my desk in Boston working, not Boston, but near Boston, and I get a phone call, and they said, "Oh, we want you to do Conan." It was great. I didn't tell anyone. I just said thank you. Hung up the phone. I think I went to
doing
the
an internal happy dance.
Yeah, I went to the bathroom and did like a fist pump and went back to my desk.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah, it was a solid feeling.
Is this when Conan was still in New York?
Yeah, it was in New York, yeah. And if we Pulp Fiction it even more, and I'll get back to the first day, we go back more to a year and a half prior to that, I was in L.A. going to grad school at USC, okay? And then I just was like going to grad school, still doing comedy out here, and I was like kind of serving 2 masters. I left grad school. And so my whole thing was I need to, not that it matters really, television is not the end all be all, but I was like, I want to get on TV before I would have graduated.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got the call, it was like April or something like that, April, May.
Like
right
2 months to graduation.
Right before I would have graduated grad school. So
that's awesome.
If I can ask, what were you going for the advanced degree?
I was going to get an MBA. Yeah, and I was going to get an MBA. I had a job lined up in the Bay Area. Like it was just,
oh, God.
Yeah. I still don't know if I did the right thing.
Honestly, I think that's how you know you did the right thing. Is that you're still wondering.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. That's a good point. Like,
you gotten to the end yet?
Why would you be sure? Like, how could you be sure, really? Right?
Yeah.
You just got to go on faith.
Yeah.
So back to the Conan, I get bumped the first time because Vince McMahon and Adam Sandler both go along.
Typical.
I get bumped, which is crazy.
I bet that was an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah. I mean, there's a slight bit of relief because you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
But you've been sort of working up for it. And even, I kind of had a funny suspicion because I was looking at my watch. I was like, this doesn't... Yeah. They called and told me I got bumped. Sent me and my family home to eat, though, which was great. They sent us to
that's nice.
A place called Ruby Foods in New York, and we ate. We thought we ate like a feast, but they called me up the next day to thank me. because
For going light on the.
because we didn't drink.
Oh, there you go.
So they were like, "Oh man, that was nothing."
That would not have been my family's experience.
Right. I'm not saying like I don't drink. Maybe my siblings were too young to drink at the time. So, and then I came back about a month later and I did it, and it went well, and I went second for some reason. Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow. Yeah, it's it's weird. I don't know if any other shows are doing this, but from talking to other friends that have done Colbert, I know they do a lot of editing, and they'll shoot stuff on one day that airs.
Right.
And I remember the one time that I went to see Letterman do a show, and I've seen Kimmel a couple times, and like once the clock starts running, that is your hour of television.
Yeah, that's how Conan is
the
too.
commercial breaks are in their set times.
Right.
So yeah, the whole thing of, oh yeah, well, we'll have you back. Now when I see that happen, when someone gets bumped, you're like, well, are they just going to change the host's tie and just record it now with this audience?
Right. No, well, for Conan, you have to come back and do a whole different show. For Kilborn and for Ferguson back in the day, they had a weird thing where they taped the comics separately and edited together. It was
That's weird.
It was interesting. Yeah.
But still with a full audience. Yeah,
Still with a full audience. Yeah, still with full audience.
It'd be really weird doing like comedy to an empty audience. We'll fix it in post. We'll put the laugh track in.
I mean, it's possible, but
Conan, it's basically been my career.
I got to get a demo tape together for the festival. Let's sweeten that with a little canned laughter.
Exactly. And I did Conan since then. Then I didn't do it for a long time, but I've actually done Conan on every show he's had.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's
nice.
And including the Tonight Show.
Triple Crown winner.
Yeah.
Man, you did
well,
the Tonight
Quad
Show.
Crown now.
With Conan, yes.
That's awesome.
But I was also on the Jay Leno show at 10 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
As a correspondent, yeah. So,
oh, right, yeah.
I did a piece called "Great White Moments" and great. Let me see, great white moments in Black history. Yeah.
Can you give us an example?
Sure. So let me see. What's the one example? The first one I did was, I guess, the year's 1994. I would come out in a suit and just like great white moments in Black history, and I would just say it. It was like a 30-second piece. So I come out. The year's 1994. Ricky Lake starts saying the phrase, "You go, girl," which causes black people to stop saying it. Thank you, Ricky Lake.
Yeah. That's good.
Those kind of things. Yeah.
Nice.
So let's, I guess let's go back even further. We're doing like a reverse chronology of your life. How'd you get started in comedy to begin with? We'll talk about your childhood.
Oh yeah. It's always gonna always come back to technology because I always loved comedy. I started hosting shows in college. I went to New York Institute of Technology in Long Island, and I was kind of being funny, hosting shows, that kind of thing. And a friend of mine, one summer, he came back and he said he was doing comedy, and I was like, "What?" I knew it was a thing, but you don't like. There's no job fair for stand-up comedy, right? So you're like, what are you saying right now?
Are they hiring? Do you want to give me my resume? Or?
And
who books that?
Exactly.
But you don't know the terminology yet, so you can't ask who books that.
That friend turned out to be Jay Leno.
Right. He actually is a guy, I think he's in England now, but he was out here like running a studio, but not from the content side. He was like operationally running a studio, which is crazy that we both ended up out here. He kind of had stopped doing comedy. But that sort of lit the bug under me. I knew I wanted to do comedy, or at the time I didn't. I knew I liked comedy. So I started writing some jokes, and one summer I got a job interview at Microsoft for like a summer internship. And I was like, well, if I get this job, that'll be that. And it's just a summer job, but if I don't get it, I'll start stand-up this summer. I'll stay in New York and start doing stand-up. I didn't get the job and didn't start stand-up right away, but I was at this Black Business Expo, just all these black businesses, support black businesses. And there was a comedy club there. And I walked up to them and I was like, hey, how do you become a comic? And they told me how. And yeah, like come on a Wednesday for like a orientation, and then Sunday we'll throw you on.
Wow.
To the New Jack segment.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's funny just thinking about how when you're starting out in comedy, and it's you said, well, if I get the job, then I won't do comedy, and if I do, blah blah blah. But I think about now, and I've been doing stand-up for a while. You're going out of town on a family vacation, whatever. You win a trip. I don't know. But any opportunity, it's like, oh, I'm going to be in this town. Let me see what the mics are like and the clubs are like.
Absolutely,
it's
absolutely.
like, now with the mind of a comic, you think back and it's like, oh, well, if I get the summer job at Microsoft, I'll see what the scene in Seattle is like.
Yeah, I may have started comedy there, too, because the deal was I'll start comedy now if I don't get it. Not that I won't do it. And,
right.
But like you said, like I've done crazy things with visiting New York when I lived in Boston. It was one Christmas. I don't know. It may have been Christmas Day. Maybe Christmas Eve. I come down with a van. No one really drives with my family at the time except for me because we're New Yorkers. So I rented a van, I think, minivan, and we packed it in with my family, my brothers and sisters, my mom, 2 of my cousins from Florida, and we're gonna go from Manhattan to Brooklyn, Roosevelt Island to Brooklyn to visit some family. And I literally go down to the New York Comedy Club on the east side. I forget which street. I think it's on 2nd Avenue, or somewhere on the east side. And like with everyone in the van, I keep the van running, and I run in and do a spot. And I run back. There's no one in there. It's awful. It's not something that needs to be done, really.
Right.
And then I hop back in and we go.
Your family's like, can we come see your... No, you have to stay with the van.
Right.
You have to stay with the van. They'll take the van. That's hilarious. Do you have any other good, road stories? Any other horrible experiences?
Yeah, I have a few,
Give us some brutal ones.
I was just talking to my friend about this one, and I think you guys will like it. I'm in South Africa with my friend David Cow, who's
a good start.
Pretty big. He's a pretty big comic in South Africa. I met him in Montreal, and then someone brought me over for shows in South Africa, and I met Dave again, and we've become really good friends. I've been to his wedding and everything. This is back before he was married.
But post-apartheid, I'm guessing.
Yeah. He I think he may be the first black comic.
Wow.
He was even before Trevor Noah. He knows Trevor Noah. Obviously, they're friends and everything. But so this guy's kind of built up the scene, and he's doing really well. And I think he toys with the idea of coming here, but he's so big and established there.
Right.
It's kind of tough to start over. So we're hanging out, and he's hanging out with this girl, the pre-story, and we're at this event sponsored by someone, and this girl is not his girlfriend. I don't think he has a girlfriend though, but she is someone else's girlfriend. So let's be clear about that. And cell phones are they're not what they are now, but it was back in the day with the the Nokia cell phones. Cell phones are a thing, not quite smartphones yet. And so we're hanging out with this girl, reckless abandon, and we are going to drop her off at her her boyfriend's family's house. There's some kind of family barbecue thingy happening somewhere in Johannesburg, and we're going to drop her off. And I'm from Brooklyn, so I'm like, I don't know, can we just drop her at the corner? You know what I mean? Or she can walk a block, right? So I don't know why. Maybe Dave just wasn't in that headspace. So we're driving. She gets on the phone, and I hear this. No, it's not like that. No, stop. Dave is cool. No, I don't want any trouble. Like that kind of talk. And I'm like, Dave, did you hear that?
That means there's going to be trouble.
Yeah. And so he kind of overrides that. I mean, we had enough. We just went. It's like a lot of detour signs, and then you can't believe you drove off the cliff.
Right.
You keep going past the detour signs. So we get there, and they're in the house doing whatever. But a bunch of guys are outside, like cousins, family members, and they're not too scary and imposing. But they're not friendly either. They're just sort of scoping us out, and we had our chances. If we just opened the door, let her out, boom, we're out of there. But somehow we don't leave, and to this day I don't know why we didn't leave.
Can I use your bathroom?
Yeah, it was just weird. And we sit and we didn't get out of the car. We're posted up. It's really disrespectful. It's getting to be you just dropped off a guy's girlfriend. Just cut your losses.
Yeah.
And I was trying to plead. I was trying to tell Dave, hey, maybe we should go. I don't know. I don't even know where I'm at, but let's get out of here. And how I got thrown off my game is she comes back for 5 minutes later. She comes back in the car.
5 minutes later.
Yeah. We're just no concern for our own safety. She comes back with another girl, and she's a pretty girl. So now she's got my attention. So we're both really distracted. So So now we're talking to both these girls in the car, and I'm just sort of talking, and I forget the danger. And so